The story opens with a kiss. Deep, desperate, and drenched in longing. A young man with dark hair and a blonde woman are locked in each other's arms, their lips pressed together like they've waited a lifetime for this moment. Their kiss deepens. Tongues intertwine, breaths mingle, and time itself seems to pause. As his fingers brushed against her chest, a soft, breathy sound escaped her lips. It was a whisper of vulnerability and rising desire. She calls out his name softly, pleading with him not to stop. But he pauses. Reality hits him as he chastises himself for losing control. Yet he doesn't pull away. Not yet. He's already in the moment, there's no reason for him to rush things. He wants to break her in slowly. After all, he is only teaching a lesson. A few days earlier, Mr. Hyde and the young lady, Lily Barden, sit at a grand piano. Again, she makes a mistake. He points it out, sternly but not unkindly. She immediately apologizes, eager to begin again. Mr. Hyde places a firm hand on her shoulder. Sit up straight, chin tucked in, let your fingers flow, like water, he instructs. A rush of warmth bloomed across her body as she thanks Mr. Hyde for his advice. Lily Barden, the beautiful adopted daughter of Viscount Barden. Her biological family had it hard. They've been struggling for about 2 generations now. She had 2 older brothers and 3 younger sisters. With such a big family and so little inheritance, Lily was left with almost nothing to her name. As a result, her family sent her off to be adopted by the Bardens and decided to trust Viscount Barden to marry their daughter off to a nice family. The Bardens were then tasked with finding a tutor to equip Lily with the appropriate manners and education. That's how Mr. Hyde made his way into their house without breaking a sweat. His intentions aren't pure. Mr. Hyde acknowledges within himself that Lily is making good progress with her lessons, and it looks like he's almost done with his actual mission, investigating Viscount Barden, her adopted father, for his shady deals. Lily interrupts his thoughts, remembering that she had something to tell him. She's getting married. The news takes Mr. Hyde by surprise. She can't hide her joy, adding that both families have been in discussion about the union for a while now, and they've agreed to hold the marriage ceremony in a year. Mr. Hyde comes to a conclusion within himself that the reason she was adopted was to be married off. He finally has a use for her. He leans closer, asking about the gentleman who is taking her hand in marriage. His intentions are sinister. She reveals, eyes bright with hope, that it's Lord Lucian Sornell, the first son of Count Sornell. She wants to know if Mr. Hyde is familiar with him. He twitched in anger, irritated by Viscount Barden's decision to give Lily's hand to Lord Sornell. He finally replies to her that he knows him. She is glad about this, and wants to know as much as she can about him before their marriage. She asks Mr. Hyde what Lord Sornell likes in a woman. Lily is beautiful, with a doll-like complexion which glows with naivete, a slender but curvy build. Mr. Hyde knows that she's exactly Lord Sornell's taste, admitting within himself that she's just perfect for him. He doesn't say it aloud, but he knows. Sornell will love her for a week, maybe 2, then discard her like all the others. He finally responds to her with a sly grin, that Lord Sornell prefers his women like they do in the capital. She's confused by his response. He clarifies, adding that Lily would have to be familiar with their ways in order to receive Lord Sornell's love. Lily, completely unfamiliar with the ways of the capital, pleads with him to offer her some advice. Mr. Hyde agrees to her plea, stating that it'll be his utmost pleasure. He offers her a seat beside him. She is confused by his request to sit next to him on the sofa, but she plays along, concluding that maybe he wants to teach her to draw sitting side by side, since she heard earlier that today was supposed to be for painting. Lily asks politely if she should send for an easel and a canvas. He dismisses her request, letting her know it wouldn't be necessary. He'll be giving her lessons on other matters. He then asks again for her to take a seat next to him, to which she agrees. She's still curious about the lesson, reflecting within herself that she wouldn't be seeing much of him when she's married. She's sad about this because she wanted to still be friends with him even after the lessons were over. He lets out a rather sly smile, replying that he'll be teaching her to love the capital way, grabbing her hand softly in the process. He gently took hold of her gloved hand and brought it to his lips. With a quiet ease, he bit the tip and pulled the glove away, letting it fall beside them. "Do you know what usually happens between a man and a woman when feelings are involved?" he asked, his voice calm but laced with meaning. She stutters, telling him that lovers take walks, hold hands, and sometimes kiss. She doesn't understand what's happening. She has never seen him this way before. He whispers in her ears that love is merely a requirement in fairy tales, but in reality, it is only optional, planting soft kisses on her hands. He grabs her by the waist, whispering something in her ears which makes her cheeks bloomed with warmth. He didn't expect her to play along. He expected her to say his request was reserved for marriage. But she responds differently, asking Mr. Hyde to teach her. He obliges immediately. His hands trail slowly up her thighs, igniting sparks with every inch. He whispers softly in her ears, letting her know that it'll be his utmost pleasure to teach her. Just a few days before the Barden Manor was infiltrated by Hyde. At the royal dining table, a man with flowing white hair, regal and cold, sips his tea. He has a favor to ask. He wants Mr. Hyde to investigate the recent firearm incident. He is Gersis, the Empire's prince, and he's second in line to the throne. Mr. Hyde tries to clarify what he means by firearms incident, just as he lifts the teacup from the saucer. Confirming if Gersis was referring to the firearm explosion that recently took place. Gersis affirms, telling him that it was from the illegal markets, asking if Mr. Hyde hasn't noticed the recent increases in the frequency of firearms incidents. Mr. Hyde jumps in, insisting that there are other illegal deals going on. He wants to know Gersis's interest in this particular case. Gersis dramatically accuses Mr. Hyde of saying illicit affairs are brewing in the Empire right in front of him. He claims to be restless and has had sleepless nights because he worries for the safety of his people. Mr. Hyde slyly apologizes to the prince for his ignorance. He wants to know exactly what Gersis needs him to do. Gersis leans forward. He likes that Mr. Hyde is finally on the same page with him. He replies, telling him that he wants him to pose as a private tutor. "A private... what?" Mr. Hyde exclaims in shock. Gersis continues, telling him that he had taken a look at the firearms from the scene and they were all made overseas in the Sun Empire. He adds that this happened despite the ban the Empire placed on the possession and distribution of them, except the Empire's soldiers. He concludes that this means that illegal dealers were present in the Empire. Mr. Hyde's interest peaks, as he chips in that with wealth and connection at that level, the Sornell house was most likely supporting the Empress. He adds that Gersis knows about his feud with one of the Sornells, and hopes he isn't asking him to infiltrate their manor. Gersis affirms that that's exactly what he wants from him. But he understands Mr. Hyde's points, which is exactly why he wants him investigating someone else instead. Count Sornell is wealthy, but he can't be working alone. He must be working with someone just as rich, someone close to the Sun Empire, and also just as ambitious. "You mean Viscount Barden?" Mr. Hyde chips in. With a satisfied grin, Gersis remarks, "To bring down a man, you cut off his financial supply." Mr. Hyde understands the prince's demands, but the Viscount only has a fully grown son, and they're in no need of a private tutor, so he doesn't understand how his scheme can work. "You'd think so," Gersis interrupts, adding that he came across some interesting news. Viscount Barden is adopting a new daughter. With a playful smirk, he asks, "What is it that a young lady always needs?" miming the motion of playing piano keys. "You must be insane," Mr. Hyde exclaims. He reflects within himself on how he can barely stand the sight of a piano, let alone teach someone how to play one. He could have simply been sent as a nobleman looking to start a business if he really wanted to wheedle information from the Viscount. He concludes that the prince probably sent him as a tutor for his personal amusement. Fast forward to the day Mr. Hyde was hired. At the Barden Manor, Mr. Hyde is shown a room where he'll be tutoring Lady Lily. The butler knocks on the door. Mr. Hyde is already sick of the whole thing, and he hasn't even started. A voice responds, asking them to come in. Lily says hello to Mr. Hyde, who is stunned by her beauty. With a warm smile, she introduces herself. Mr. Hyde smirks as his mind changes the moment he sets his sight on her. He responds to her greeting, introducing himself as her piano tutor. Back to the kissing scene from earlier. Lily has lost all self-control. She calls out softly to Mr. Hyde. She can't breathe. Lost in the warmth of his touch, her voice trembles as she whispers for him to stop. Her thoughts drift, caught in the storm of his wild gaze. He wipes her lips with the tip of his thumb, telling her that's how you kiss. He reminds her that she wants to learn. He wants to know if she'll like to proceed. Her face lit up with a gentle warmth. Go further? She asks, just as he interrupts her with a kiss. She wonders if this is the way they do it in the capital. He interrupts her thoughts, whispering to her, asking if she feels the heat. She's definitely feeling the heat, and it's not even summer yet. He takes things slow, desiring to savor every moment. He tells her he thought they'll taste like strawberries. She wonders if he's making fun of her because of the weird sounds she made. He kisses her once more, bringing the day's lessons to an end. He suggests they've made good progress, slipping her gown back in place. They adjust their dresses. Lily looks disappointed, like she hasn't had enough. She wonders how he's back to his normal self so quickly, almost like nothing had just happened. She has a sad look on her face, wondering if he has gotten used to things like this, that it doesn't matter to him. He reads her demeanor, asking her if she feels the lesson ended too quickly. He tells her not to feel disappointed because he feels the same way, revealing a bulge between his pants. Lily wants to know if he's like this towards his other acquaintances. He sarcastically asks what she meant. His response frustrates Lily. Like what you said about me tasting like strawberries. She stammers. He places his hand softly on her cheek, telling her he only speaks that way to those who look yummy. His words and touch sends a rush of warmth all over her body. He suggests they continue with their lessons if she was feeling disappointed. A loud knock on the door interrupts them. The man knocking insists he's coming in. Lily recognizes the voice. It sounds like Tillian. Tillian slams the door open, demanding to know what Mr. Hyde is doing. He responds that they're in the middle of a lesson. He explains that he was simply introducing Lily to the basic theories, since it's their first session, responding to Tillian's question about whether it was a painting lesson. Lily puts herself back together as both men exchange words. Lily interrupts them, asking if Tillian needed to tell her something. He wants to remind her about dinner later. He suggests that Mr. Hyde is a busy man and she has taken up much of his time. Tillian Barden is Viscount Barden's only son and Lily's new big brother. Mr. Hyde jumps in, suggesting that he and Lily wrap up their lesson for the day, and she agrees. He whispers something in her ears and bids her farewell, with Tillian staring at him suspiciously. He wonders what Tillian's reaction would be if knew what he and Lily were up to. Tillian turns to Lily, pointing out that her hair was messy. She claims it got caught on one of the easels. Didn't Mr. Hyde just say they were only having basic lessons? Tillian wonders with a suspicious look on his face. Lily feels embarrassed for looking unkempt. She wants to know what Tillian was saying about dinner that evening. He asks if she'll enjoy what's on the menu, and she nods with a soft smile, thanking him for his thoughtfulness. He brushes off the praise and says, "I'll see you at dinner," before quietly closing the door behind him. Her mind raced back to what Mr. Hyde whispered in her ears before leaving. He asked her not to wear anything underneath when she comes for her next lessons. The next day, as their lessons are about to begin, Lily stands before Mr. Hyde. He wants to know if she completed her assignment. She wonders how he can be so nonchalant about something like that, fidgeting while trying to respond to him. He scolded her, letting her know that being uncertain made her look vulnerable. This warrants a more firm response from her as she lets him know she did what he asked. She adds that she even dressed herself to avoid the maid's suspicion. He wonders if she was expecting to be praised for doing so. He then compliments her hard work and dedication, expressing how much he enjoyed teaching her. She quietly reflects that he never said such during piano lessons. She's still glad they've grown much closer since then. Again, Mr. Hyde wants to confirm she actually completed her assignment. She admits inwardly that she can't say no to his charming smile. He keeps a straight face while he unbuttons her dress. He grows a bit frustrated by the amount of buttons on her dress. Finally, he gets all her buttons and her dress slips down to the floor, leaving her in just her chemise. He asks if she doesn't think her chemise is an undergarment, to which she responds that she wasn't wearing anything else underneath. He admires her gorgeous figure, then pulls her towards him. Things start to get spicy as he plants kisses on her, which sends shivers all over her body. He offers to reward her for being an obedient student. He drives her crazy as he plants kisses all over her through her light fabric. She doesn't want him to see that she's already soaked. He compliments how adorable she is, asking if she liked it. She isn't sure. He whispers in her ears that he wants a clear and honest answer as he slips his fingers between her thighs. Between breathless kisses, he murmurs how enchanting her sensitivity is, each reaction only drawing him in further. He draws back a bit, and she calls out to him softly, begging him for more. He brushes his hair backwards, thinking of what he should do next. Every nerve in Lily's body screams, "This is wrong." Yet the pleasure is too intoxicating to stop. Mr. Hyde knows he'll have to stop now if he's going to continue giving her lessons, acknowledging that Tillian could walk in at any moment. He helps Lily get dressed. She wonders if this is what it feels like to be in a relationship. She is worried that with everything that has happened between them, he has never mentioned anything about them. How can he do such things with her and not love her like that? How much sweeter would he be to someone he's actually dating? All these thoughts spike her curiosity, and she's anxious to know how many women he has been with in the past. Mr. Hyde doesn't give a straight response, instead asking if she has finally picked an interest in him. From his response, she feels that he has left a long trail of broken hearts. He rebuffs her, letting her know he isn't some lecher who goes around messing with women's hearts. She doesn't believe him. She thinks he's been with countless women to be so good at what he does. Mr. Hyde points out she's getting jealous. He never used to like jealous women, but she's an exemption. She denies his accusations, adding that she was merely wondering how he got so good at his teachings. He bluntly remarks that covering up the truth with flimsy excuses only makes it more obvious, and such would lead to her losing an upper hand in her relationship before it even started. She responds saying that being untruthful sounds painful and agonizing. To which he doesn't respond immediately, reflecting within himself how naive and foolish she was. He admits they've still got a long way to go. Their next lesson would be conducted outdoors, according to Mr. Hyde. Lily reflects on his decision to conduct their next lesson outside, remarking within herself that they'll both be taken in for disorderly conduct if they do anything they've been up to in public. But he just wants to show her how to act in public when you're in a relationship. He approaches the carriage, reflecting on what he'll be teaching her today. In the next scene, someone tosses a sealed envelope on the table containing reports from an investigation. He wants to know what Mr. Hyde is planning, since his mission at Viscount Barden's house was already over. With a blunt look, he nonchalantly tells him that he's volunteering his teaching skills. The young man adds that his antics wasn't his concern, warning him out of concern to be careful because he was bound to get caught. He slammed the door on his way out. Just as it said from the report, it seems Lily has been locked up within the confines of the house to be married off and nothing else. He knows that deep down, she's still that small-town soul. His eyes are fixed on her. She's excited about being at the restaurant. Everyone can't seem to get their eyes off her, which makes her a bit uncomfortable. Mr. Hyde says to Lily that he's trying to teach Lily the way which people date in the capital. It's a long way from what she might be used to. He adds that over here, the only way to be loved was by hiding how you truly feel. Lily is confused by this. He continues, stating that to the people you actually like, you act like you don't. But to those you don't, you act friendly to. He explains to her that men's feelings grow when they're desperate and they fall for women they can't seem to understand. People would respect a lady who tosses away a whole bouquet of flowers like it's nothing over one who smiles at the sight of a single flower. He doubts if she can ever be that kind of lady. He tells her that if her man flirts with other women, then she must do the same with other men. She wants to know why she has to do so, as this goes against her morals. He shrugs, explaining to her that this would give her the upper hand. The waiter interrupts their conversion, serving a dessert. Mr. Hyde is disappointed at how she's so easily distracted by desserts. He can't help but admit that she looks so adorable as she enjoys her meal. He tries to brush off the thought, clearing his throat as he regains composure. As they make their way out of the cafe, he admits inwardly that although he intends to make her a woman of the highest of society, he wishes she was an orphan who's got nothing, just so she'd come to depend on him. As they make their way through the busy streets, he confesses within himself that he'd hate for her to be toyed with and ridiculed by that scum Lord Lucian Cernel. They finally make it into a pink cafe named Wonderland. He wants to know if she'll prefer sweeter beverages or just coffee. She'd like to try coffee today. He steps out to get her order. She can't stop thinking of how much she enjoyed dining at the restaurant. Now she's at a cafe. She had only ever dreamed of coming to one. She's also worried that she might be wearing out Mr. Hyde because he's having to guide her through everything. She notices how everyone is staring at her again, just like at the restaurant. She wonders if they can detect her ignorance, probably by how she's dressed. A young man approaches her table, trying to catch Lily's attention with his sugar-coated words. She tries to explain that she's with someone. He playfully remarks that he'll explain himself to her acquaintance when he gets back. Mr. Hyde grasps his shoulder, insisting he explains himself then since he was already there. The young man, visibly intimidated by him, excuses himself, dashing away from their table. Lily calls out to Mr. Hyde. She's clearly impressed by how he stood up for her. He walks back to his seat, telling Lily that he still had a thing or two to teach her. According to him, it isn't his wish to corrupt her innocent mind. But he must let her know that all men don't usually have pure intentions. They whisper hollow, sweet nothings, hoping for the slightest chance to indulge in carnal pleasures. Hers, to be exact. So if all men are like that? Lily silently wonders. Is it the same with you? She asked loudly. She wants to know if he has been so nice and polite to her, for the chance to undress her. He bluntly admits to her suspicion, adding that he'd like to rip off her dress and play with her, giving her a detailed explanation of the things he would like to do with her. He confesses that these thoughts have clouded his mind for a while now. His seductive words make her squirm inside, stirring a desire so deep she finds herself wishing they were back at the mansion, where he might actually act on his words. She admits to herself that if this is what being in a relationship feels like, there's no one she'd rather learn from than him. She doesn't want to remain a naive, ignorant woman anymore. She presses his hand on her chest, giving in completely to her desires. He playfully scolded her, reminding her of his lessons to always be on guard around men and not falling for their tricks. With a bleak expression, she asks if it wasn't all a lesson about relationships after all. She questions if she can ever learn to be in a mature relationship. Can she keep a man who's courting her at arm's length like he advised? She seems overwhelmed by everything. They are done at the cafe and make their way back to the carriage. Mr. Hyde admits inwardly that she's got a point. As the carriage door is slammed shut, Mr. Hyde gets on top of her. He confesses to her while undoing his buttons that he isn't much of a gentleman but hoped she saw him as one. But since she plainly went against his teachings, it was only fitting that he punished her, as it's the right thing to do as her tutor. He vows to let her feel for herself the full intensity of a man's unchecked desire. Fear should be her first reaction. But instead, desire coils in her belly. Without another word, they crash into a kiss. Hungry, breathless, and charged with everything they've been holding back. Her voice trembles as she calls his name, a plea laced with longing she can no longer contain. He cautions her not to be so quick to beg, unless she wanted to attract the attention of people outside, because he certainly doesn't mind. She realizes that they're inside a carriage and anyone could see them. His presence overwhelmed her senses, and though she knew she should resist, she simply couldn't. He finally unbuttoned his shirt completely, unveiling a chiseled chest and sculpted abs beneath. Her voice soft but urgent, she begged him to pull her into his embrace. Mr. Hyde murmurs with a lustful expression, noting just how responsive her body is beneath his touch, as his hands explore her curves with practiced grace. Unable to hold back any longer, Lily cries out for Mr. Hyde, her body aching with a desire that threatens to consume her. His touch sends a wave of overwhelming sensation through her, stealing her breath and making her body tremble with an intensity she never expected. He pulls her up, sitting her on his lap as he embraces her, planting kisses on her head as she catches her breath. He used to be so strict during piano lessons. She wonders why he's so affectionate now. She can't fight how much she keeps wanting more from him. Back at the mansion, her maid is dressing her hair. She's curious about Lily's outing. She wants to know if she had fun. Lily hesitated. Her heart skipped a bit. She hadn't expected that question, and it showed. "It was nothing special," she replied, masking the reality behind calm words, downplaying the details of how it actually went, her poise slowly returning. She questions whether the traces of her recent ordeal were written all over her face. As her mind travels back to the events of the day, it was one of the happiest days of her life. Her thoughts are interrupted by a knock at the door. She permits the person to come in. The butler walks in, informing her that the young master wanted her to join him for a cup of tea. She playfully tries to get him to not be so formal, confirming that he's referring to Tillian. She asks him to inform him that she'll be with him shortly. On her way to the dinning, she wonders why Tillian wants to see her given that she was permitted to go out, and she also came back at a reasonable hour. They're seated silently at the dining table. Tillian breaks the silence, telling her he heard about her outing with her tutor. She affirms, pointing out how kind enough Mr. Hyde was to show her around the capital because she had never been before. He cautions her that it was improper for a lady like her to be waltzing around town in the arms of another man, insisting that she ask him instead if she wished to go on an outing. Amused by his sudden concern, she wonders if that's why he wanted to see her. She politely declining the offer, she doesn't want to be a burden on him. He insists, pointing out that even they weren't related by blood, he was still her older brother, adding that it would be better to be seen with him than a complete stranger. She doesn't respond immediately, coming to an inward realization that she's actually closer to Mr. Hyde than her adopted family. Her mood suddenly changes from that of a radiant flower in full bloom to the opposite. Tillian can't fight the inward thoughts that Mr. Hyde was responsible for Lily's earlier joy. He moves closer to her, acknowledging that he could be more considerate towards her, but he still cares about her as his sister. He squats by her side. He wants her to know this and hopes she'll come to think the same. His gesture makes her smile. She acknowledges his kindness towards her. She sees him for what he is. He may appear cold on the outside, but deep down, he's a sweetheart. He wants her to see things from his perspective so she'll understand what he's worried about. He's worried that she's getting too close to her tutor. She stammers, trying to plead her false innocence. Tillian sighs, telling her it takes a man to see another man for what he truly is. He knows Mr. Hyde is trouble. She assures him that there was nothing to be worried about, because she thinks she's also good at reading people. Back at her room, her conversation with Tillian made her realize the weight of her situation. She had an affair with a stranger while she was betrothed to another man. She understands Tillian's concern, but this isn't Mr. Hyde's fault. It's on her. She can't shake the aching desire for his touch. She's learning to please her fiancé, but deep down it's Mr. Hyde she longs to please. She's unsure if she can get married like this while her heart now belongs to someone else. Lost in her imagination, she softly calls out to Mr. Hyde as if he were truly there beside her. She questions if she'll ever be happy knowing that she doesn't love the one she's supposed to spend the rest of her life with. The messenger announces that Lord Lucian Sornell would be visiting in 2 days. Finally, Lily gets to meet her fiancé. If you're dying to know what happens next, be sure to like this video. Subscribe to Beneath the Story and drop a comment if you want to see part 2. Don't forget to turn on post notifications so you never miss new posts from us. Your support keeps the story alive, one secret at a time. There's always more hiding beneath the story.